It's nice that you had time to stop for coffee, a croissant, while I'm sitting up in this room waiting for you for like the last 2 hours to get out of your stupor and get up here to record this show.
I actually got a great night's sleep. I woke up with no money.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Let me tell you something, man. I've been doing great here in Fantasy Springs. I was up $3,000+.
Yes.
I woke up, I counted my money, mostly singles, fives, and tens, and I have $298 left. That's the truth. And I blame Todd Grisham. Todd Grisham is a walking bad decision. I do everything right in my life when Todd's not around. I gamble better. I drink less. I'm more amiable and friendly to podcast fans and listeners. I connect with everyone. But when I'm walking with Todd, it's just self-destruction times 10. I mean, every whim that pops into that man's head, he's like a child. And me, I'm like a child that follows a child. And we are children of the corn here in the casino together. So yeah, I'm broke, Mannix. I'm leaving here with a little bit of gas money. That's it.
You were up at least 3,000
yeah.
at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I know this because I came downstairs on Friday night at around midnight.
I was yelling at the casino girl
to find you arguing with the woman behind the cage because you were trying to cash out. And when you're trying to cash out that amount of money, they go back and look at the tape to make sure you're not just bringing fake chips into the casino. And as I walked down the stairs, I looked through the casino, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this Mexican just waving his arms in the air demonstratively, trying to get his money back from the cage. You finally got back your money and proceeded to lose it all on Saturday.
God forbid you win more than $3,000 here at Fantasy Springs, because they're going to do an investigation and a cavity check. I couldn't leave with my chips. I said, you know what? I don't even want my cash anymore. Just give me my chips. She goes, no, now you
were
can't.
reaching into the cage.
Now you can't leave with your chips either. We have to find out where they came. So anyway, I lost 99.9% of my money. I'm leaving here with a lot less than I came, including my morals and my
pride, dignity, self-respect,
everything else, and I blame Todd Grisham. Grisham.
Right, great start. All right, well, this is a boxing show, so we're going to talk about the reason that we're here in Fantasy Springs, and that was the doubleheader on Saturday night. Oscar Collazo successfully defends his 105-pound titles against Jayson Vayson. Gabriela Fundora picks up another knockout. Let's start with the main event, and let's start with Collazo, which was a fight that began much more competitively than I thought it was going to be. Jayson Vayson, kind of a late replacement, dropping down in weight, had to cut to a weight he hadn't been to in about 7 years, but he was having some success in the early rounds, especially with the body. In the middle of the 7th round, Vayson's corner quits, throws in the towel, says no mas on this fight. While this fight was, at least on my scorecard, a competitive fight. So let's start at the beginning. What was your reaction when you saw the stoppage from Vayson's corner?
I couldn't believe it. And I ran into Vayson's, one of his team members here at the hotel in the elevator, actually. And, you know, they're all wearing their Vayson gear, their Vayson jackets. And I said, why would you stop that fight? Now, mind you, I was still full of adrenaline from losing all my money. So I was still upset. So maybe that kind of got expressed. And he got upset at me. I'm looking out for the health of my fighter. I stopped it because I go, no, I am a fighter. And then that's when he really got mad. He goes, I know who you are, and you out of all people should respect and understand why I stopped that fight. I go, I do not respect it, and then we turn into an argument. I go, I do not respect it, and I don't understand it. It was for a unified championship of the world. That man was not hurt. That if anything, he hurt the champ to the body, and you stop it on his feet when he's not even getting clobbered or beaten. Everyone was surprised. Even the referee who stopped the fight was surprised. Todd Grisham had to pull me off him, saying, "Hey man, why are you arguing with that man?" I'm like, I'm passionately disagreeing with him, but it did sound like I was arguing with him because I feel for Vayson. because this was a huge opportunity for him to shock the world and do something great. Not saying he was going to win, but you never know. He hurt Collazo once. He could have hurt him again.
Especially the body.
But it turns out it didn't matter because he was losing on all scorecards.
Which the corner could not have known in that moment. He was down 59-54 on all three scorecards. I had him down 57-56, and he was on his way to losing that seventh round, so the gap would have widened on my card as well. But that doesn't change any of it. Like, if you're a cornerman, you're looking at your guy, and you know your guy hurt him. I think it was the fourth round of that fight. Even at the start of the seventh round, I thought Vayson landed a couple of good shots in the beginning of it. So there was a back and forth between these two guys, but you nailed it. This was for the unified 105-pound championship. Jayson Vayson is probably never going to get an opportunity like this again. Like, if he had been, battered to the head and taken a lot of headshots and a lot of punishment, then maybe I can see a corner stepping in and looking out for the safety of their fighter. But at no point did I think that Vayson was seriously hurt. More importantly, I didn't think he was out of the fight. I thought he was very much in the fight. If your fighter is in the fight when the stakes are that high, and your voice on this is more authoritative than mine because you were a fighter, you're a champion, you know these circumstances. Like, I just can't imagine. I can't imagine what you would have done if Dean Campos had thrown the towel in when you were in a competitive fight in the seventh round.
I think I voiced that on air. I said, I would be so furious that I literally I would tell everyone to get the hell out of the ring. I wouldn't want nobody in that ring. I would cut purses. I wouldn't pay who I was supposed to pay the percentage of my purse. If I was Jayson Vayson, I would be through the roof. What's the worst word I could say?
Apoplectic.
What?
Like that?
I would be apoplectic.
Yes.
At everyone in the world. I would just go. It would be mayhem in that ring. I would go crazy because this would be an opportunity of a lifetime that I would never get again on the biggest stage that those little men can possibly get. And I will be apoplectic times 10 because he was in the fight. He's the naturally bigger fighter. Jayson Vayson is a naturally bigger fighter. So the longer the fight goes, the more he's going to have the advantage. If he had the advantage and
maybe, because I don't know if he was a good fighter either.
Doesn't matter. The size alone would have been effective. That's when a bigger fighter has the advantage. The second half of the fight, and if he hurt Collazo in the first half of the fight, what makes you think he could have done it the second half of the fight to the same place, the body? And I called it when it happened, and afterwards, Oscar Collazo confirmed it. He hurt me to the body. Though the pain to the body shots, those linger. I try to explain that to the fans all the time. When you get hurt down there, even though the pain may have dissipated, by the 9th, 10th round, if you get touched to that same side or even the other side, it's gonna remind you of that pain, and you're gonna act differently because you're already more fatigued. And who knows? Maybe I'm just saying what if, but it was a terrible decision. And we will never hear of Jayson Vayson ever again. And sadly, he fought a really, really damn good fight on the biggest stage for those little men, and they robbed it from him. His own team backstabbed him and robbed it from him.
They at least deprived him of the opportunity to go out on his shield in the most significant fight of his professional career. And I don't know who you talked to in the lobby, but I can tell you when I went over to that corner as this was developing in real time, only the chief second was interested, was about stopping that fight. The rest of them were going crazy. The managers, I don't know, there was like 8 guys over in that corner. I couldn't figure out who was who for a while over there because, little insight, like Vayson didn't show up to our fighter meetings. He sent 2 of his managers there to represent him. So he's got a couple of managers, a couple of trainers. I don't know. There were like 8 guys in blue sweatsuits that were hanging out there, but all but one were furious. One of them, the other guys, was yelling at Tom Taylor and was yelling at the commissioner that stopped the fight. Like, hey, we don't want to do this. The commissioner correctly was like, no, there's no takebacks here. Once you stop the fight stopped. So this chief second said to the commissioner, stop fight. I read some quotes. Ryan Zangilo, sorry, apologies for the name wrong, wrote over on Boxing Scene. And I think he talked to a few of the people within the team that he seemed to imply that it was Tom Taylor that was really worried about Vayson and that the commission in the corner was concerned about Vayson. I think this is just a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking. I think they screwed up. They made a catastrophic mistake for their guy, and now they're just trying to cover their tracks.
That's exactly what they're doing. And everyone's finances is on the line. Everyone has a piece and a percentage of that purse. Everyone in that corner that was arguing. So whether they were arguing for them not to stop a fight or that one numbskull that decided to tell Thomas Taylor or jump on the ring or stop the fight.
Oh, it was the commissioner that stopped it. Like you tell the commissioner ringside and he jumps up and stops the fight.
One voice tells the commissioner, and that
chief second.
That's enough. That man needs to get fired and his purse withheld, because if the fighter is in a position to win not one championship, but 2 championships in the biggest fight of his life, you're supposed to go out on your shield. There has to be this quiet agreement between you and your longtime trainer, the person that knows you the best. Let me go out until I can't fight anymore. Like, for instance, when I fought Daniel Jacobs the second fight, I got dropped like 6 times, and I kept, I don't know, I kept getting up. And my trainer, Dean, knows that I'm the type of guy that wouldn't forgive him if he stopped the fight if I have any type of fight left. He let me go until I couldn't go anymore. And I'm glad he stopped the fight after like the 4th or 5th knockdown. And I was happy that he did. I was like, man, I was about to get knocked out bad. So that is when you stop the fight, when you know your fighter so well, knowing, man, I've seen him take worse beatings in the gym and sparring and this and that. I know what he can go through, but I know what he could go through when he has his legs, when he has conditioning, when he's in shape, when he's not 38 years old like it was in my last fight or whatever. So these are all things that a trainer in a corner has to calculate. If in this particular case with Jayson Vayson, that was none of the above. That was none of the above. So, yeah, he needs to clean house. But he's so nice and humble. I could tell that he's not going to do none of it. Afterwards, when he was still smiling and he wasn't pointing fingers and he wasn't going crazy at anybody and blaming fingers, right there I know that he's too nice to do anything about that stoppage. He's just going to move on with his life and career.
All right, so Collazo moves on. He is still a 2-belt champion at 105 pounds. I thought the performance was fine. You give it kind of a B. He took some shots against a lesser guy. Maybe that's because he underestimated him. In the narrative coming into this fight was, all right, who's next? There are 2 other title holders out there. Could you move up to 108? Could you fight Ricardo Sandoval? Ultimately, he gets the job done. I think for Collazo, even though the Sandoval fight is probably pretty appealing because of the legacy aspect of it, I think you got to go for those other 2 belts. I mean, they should be very makeable fights. Melvin Jerusalem, who already fought on a Golden Boy show. He's now got another belt. There's another Filipino with the other title. Like, these should be fights that Golden Boy should make very easily. I think you go for undisputed, become the first male Puerto Rican to be an undisputed 4-belt champion. That's the beginning of legacy defining fights. What do you think for Collazo?
Collazo has a lot of decisions, a lot of opportunities, and I think whenever you are that small, whenever you're a 105, 108, 112, 115 pounder, you have to do more than the bigger guys. You have to fight more, you have to be more active, you have to be more exciting, you have to exchange more, try to go for the knockouts to get the attention. Guys like Collazo, Bam Rodriguez, and others, they are doing just that, and they're getting paid big man money. These little giants are getting paid big man money because they're actually, please don't start sniffling and stuff like that.
That was one time.
Our last pod, was sniffling like crazy.
No, that was just the audio edit problem. That was one time.
You're like Tony Montana last time.
I'm sorry. You just stuck your disgusting bare foot up on the... Can we not do that for video purposes?
I do have ugly feet.
You do. Continue.
Where were we?
Bam Rodriguez makes a lot of money. To make a lot of money, you got to be active. That's what you're saying.
Active and exciting and go for the knockouts. And Oscar Collazo has that. He has the power. He has the speed. He has the following. And he's going to be putting these shows as the main event, not as an undercard. That's another thing. Promoters only put these little giants on the main slot whenever they get knockouts. If they don't get knockouts, they're going to be the semi-main event or maybe down the line. So they're going to get the big stage. They're going to get the bigger purses and the bigger money and the bigger promotion. So it's an incentive for these guys to go for the knockout. Oscar Collazo understands that. I mean, he speaks English, speaks Spanish. He says all the right things. He goes for the knockout. He's exciting, but he's also vulnerable, like he proved last night, like he proved when he got dropped a couple fights ago. That's also exciting. That also sells. Promoters love that. Fans relish that. I think Oscar Collazo is going to be just fine. He did his job. He took care of business. It still goes down as a knockout victory on his resume, and they can keep him active because he wasn't injured. There was no cut. So that's just another title defense on his record. And I agree. He should go for all the belts. Whenever you're undisputed, you make history. Whenever you have all the belts, you leave no doubt who's the best at 105. That's when you move up. You don't do it in a hurry just because they're offering bigger money or there's a sexy name at 108 or 112. You do it on your time, on your terms, when you want to do it. I think Oscar Collazo has that luxury to do that. So he should clean out 105 first.
Yeah, I agree. And I think 2026 could be a big year from him. Get both those fights in the first half of the year, and then as undisputed, then you look around. Maybe Sandoval's still out there. Maybe he's got a third title around his waist by that point, and then you look for those bigger and better fights. All right, let's talk about the co-main event. Gabriela Fundora just keeps rolling.
I wish I had my hand free so I can clap. There you go. I'll use my thigh. What a monster.
Just keeps rolling along. Knocks out Alexis Kubicki in the 7th round of her undisputed 112-pound title defense. Now 3 consecutive knockouts for Fundora. Her first 3-fight knockout streak has knocked out 5 of her last 6 opponents, all at the championship level. We talked about this on air. Kubicki came in brimming with confidence, believed that she had the game plan to stop Fundora. And it was maybe 60 seconds into the fight that you knew that she didn't. She couldn't get on the inside against that long left of Fundora, and she was just eating punch after punch. I give Kubicki credit. She got a great chin, and it was the referee that stepped in and said that was enough, too much punishment. But just another dominant performance from start to finish from Gabriela Fundora.
In a fight that we're just talking about where we're shocked that they stopped the fight and Jayson Vayson, his corner stopped it. I'm shocked that they didn't stop the fight with Kubicki. And that's her father.
Her father.
That's her father trainer, in the corner. You know, I don't get it. I have a daughter. I cannot fathom, seeing my daughter take that type of punishment against a long, strong, power punching, undisputed champion. I mean, you have this amazing woman in Gabriela Fundora, who's an excellent fighter. She's a fighting machine. She has great technique. She has great power, great pop in her punch. She has speed. Little by little, every 5-10 years, women's boxing is evolving. If you remember back 15, 20 years, women boxing, I don't want to say the wrong things, but it wasn't exciting. It wasn't fun to watch because they didn't have the technique. They didn't have the power. It was an anomaly to watch, women fights. Like, all right, women are going to fight. That's rare. But now women have evolved into these fighting machines or sharks. They've evolved fast. Within 20 years, they're killers inside the ring. Gabriela Fundora is the shark of them all, apex predator. And she's doing it from this 5'9" stance, southpaw, with this extremely long reach. And she's beating down fighters. I said it yesterday on air, a female Paul Williams. Paul Williams was so exciting because he didn't use his advantages, his height, his reach. He would want to go in there and fight like he's, 5'5" when he's 6 foot plus. That's excitement. They're vulnerable. They get hit, but they could take a big punch. That's another thing. Fundora doesn't mind getting hit. She just gets meaner, and she goes for the knockout. She fights like an exciting champion. She fights like one of the most exciting fighters in boxing. Like that used to be the title of Amanda Serrano. Serrano used to be the best, hardest punching fighter. She's probably the best body puncher. She was going for the knockout. That's not the case anymore. Gabriela Fundora is the most physical, hard punching, exciting fighter in women's boxing right now. And I'll say it again, Mannix. I'm going to go online right here. Gabriela Fundora is pound for pound the most exciting fighter in boxing, women's boxing right now.
All right, but where would you put her on the pound for pound list? Like right now, I've got her positioned at number 4 behind the big 3 of Katie Taylor, Claressa Shields, and Amanda Serrano. At some point, We got to start talking about Gabriela Fundora.
Some point, we got to start doing it now.
List. You want to put? Where would you put her
right now? I think you got to look. I love Katie Taylor. I think she's incredible, but her time has passed.
She just beat Amanda Serrano, a top 3 opponent.
Her time has passed
in the most convincing way she's done any of the 3 fights.
She is diminishing just because she's still at the top of her promotional best and purses. Put it this way, she's like Canelo. Has Canelo diminished?
Yes,
but he's still record-breaking numbers.
Katie Taylor just beat a top 3 opponent.
Did she look good doing it?
Months ago. Yes, that was the best she's looked against Amanda Serrano.
I didn't think she looked all that good compared to how she used to look. The bounce.
You think Serrano looked worse then? But you can't take Katie Taylor out of the top 3 and not take Amanda Serrano out of the top 3. Katie Taylor beat Amanda Serrano.
Well, then you take Serrano out.
So you would give me your top 3 right now.
It has to be probably Claressa Shields, who's still lingering on top. Probably Katie Taylor and then Gabriela Fundora.
So you would put Fundora at number 3.
Yeah, I'll take out Serrano. I mean, back-to-back losses to Katie Taylor, you have to take her out.
Well, I mean, I think losing to an elite opponent shouldn't be weighed against you all that much.
It weighs against Canelo?
Yeah, Canelo's fallen. When Canelo lost to Bivol, he dropped back of the pack. Canelo might not even be top 10 right now in pound for pound.
He's probably just at the end of top 10.
I don't even know if I put him in the top 10. If you're not beating Terrence Crawford, I'm not sure to put him there. Anyway, I haven't thought too much about the latest women's pound for pound, but I would have her. She's right there in the mix at number 3. I think she's got to be under consideration. A hard stop at 4. That's where she is. What she needs is a marketable opponent. She needs a big name on her resume. And we're looking at her and seeing this 5'9" woman and wondering how high can she go. But she's talking to us every week or every few weeks when we see her.
How low can she go?
Going how low. She weighed in at just a shade over 110 pounds. She's talking about making 108 for her next fight. A 5'9", 108 pounder, Sergio. If you were, Team Fundora there, what would you advise her to do?
Go down, just like Bam Rodriguez did. Bam Rodriguez won a title at 115, went down to 112, and he
won 2 titles there. Yeah,
exactly. So I would say that. Because history remembers titles. They remember big names, and if you
especially in women's boxing,
in women's boxing. But if you don't have that big name to associate yourself with, then you have to do it with the hardware. With the multi-division championships. That's what is going to be great for Fundora in the long run, and for her resume, and for her bank account. Because whenever you start doing that, you have you open up your Rolodex of the fighters you could face, the champions you could face. Oh well, they can meet at the cash weight at 110 if she fights the 108 champion, or she can meet a champion at 115 at 113 and whatever. There's catch weights. That's how you get more attention, and that's how you build the Fundora brand. But wow, what a fighting machine she is, man. She's like she reminds me of this lethal, dangerous, tall, long spider that's always coming at you. I don't know if you, I hate spiders, Mannix. I have arachnophobia. I think that's what the word is.
It is.
And they're creepy just by them coming at you. And she's like that. When she's stalking opponents, she's so long with her arms, so long with her legs, and she has this grin on her face, like, I can't wait to get you. I can't wait to get you. And then she corners you and she gets you. She is, man, she's like women's boxing's version of arachnophobia. I don't know. I'm afraid of that woman. And I can't imagine being 108 or 112 or 115 being in front of her.
It's impossible to see anyone on the current landscape between 108 and 115 giving her problems. I mean, she goes down to 108, which is largely an anonymous division. Assuming she makes that weight in a good way, she's going to collect all those belts quickly. Like, there's nobody out there that can challenge her.
If you don't have foot speed, you need foot feints in order to fight tall fighters like that.
Yeah.
I used to love fighting tall fighters, like extremely tall fighters. I'm barely 6 foot, right? I fought a guy that was 6'5" once, and I loved it. I loved fighting. One of my best performances. But it was foot feints. I would get him off balance. I would loop my punches over the top. I would throw body shots on the inside. I would beat him with speed, foot feints, and awkwardness, unorthodox punches. And that's what you need against Fundora. If you stand in front of her, if you just walk either forward or backwards, you're in trouble.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
you have to move laterally. You have to do foot feints. You have to get her to bite. You have to get her to punch when she doesn't want to punch. And if you do that, that's when you're fighting her on your terms. Like, and it's a lot. Don't get me wrong. But if you made a career doing that, then you can beat a style like that. So if I was a woman, I would look at Fundora. I was like, I can beat her. I know what to do against her. It's gonna be hard, but I can beat her.
That's what Kubicki said. I mean, Kubicki said she had the whole game plan, but then, as Tyson said,
yeah. But did you really believe Kubicki?
No, I didn't. Because we heard that from Marilyn Badillo.
Her father actually reminded me of a motivational speaker.
He was like a Polish Bundini Brown.
He was a motivational speaker with an accent, and mind you, he had charisma. We listened, and he said some interesting things. But he's a salesman. He sold his daughter out to a beating.
No, he put her in position for
should the father have stopped that fight?
I would have stopped it a couple of rounds.
There you go.
Earlier. It just
and
wasn't
he didn't.
like he was what he was telling her in the corner. I don't think was reflecting reality.
No,
like he was saying she was doing a couple of good things. She got on the inside, but as we said on the air, like once she got on the inside, she didn't have a game plan there. It was just grab, hold, and throw these inconsequential punches. I don't know.
You know what would have been perfect? The ideal world last night if Kubicki's father would have been in Jayson Vayson's corner.
He would have let it go.
Vayson's corner would have been in Kubicki's corner to stop the fight.
I'm anxious to see what Fundora does next. I think like her legacy is going to be how heavy she can get. It's crazy. Like her team, her father was like, she eats 5 meals a day, and she's still at that weight.
Hey, and credit to the father. I just want to say this real quick. Normally, I hate father, daughter, son relationships, trainer, boxer relationship. I hate it. It's very militant. They don't let their boy or their daughter grow up to be men or women of their own, and they're always under the shadow of the father. It's like the father is living through them vicariously. I hate it. Let me tell you again. I hate it. All right. I hate father-son relationships, but occasionally. It works. It works here. Sebastian Fundora, and Gabriela Fundora are strong-minded, highly intelligent. I mean, Sebastian's going to Harvard, for God's sake. It doesn't get more intelligent than that. But they're fighting machines. They're mean because the father lets them be mean. All the father does, he's playing the father figure of love, but the trainer figure, the drill sergeant at home. They work hard, but they let them be themselves. They develop their own character. That's the reason Sebastian can think for himself, and he doesn't have to look at his corner for dad. Same thing with Gabriela. There's this confidence in her eye where she smirks. And she even kind of looks down at you if you ask her a dumb question. Like, you know, like they're so confident in their intelligence, their ability, and the way they're raised, and that's because of the father and their mother. So credit to Papa Fundora. Keep doing what you're doing, because I rarely agree with boxer trainer father boxer relationships.
Well, they've got the other daughter, Fabiola, who's 11, who's got that same swag to her. You saw she sat in our fighter meetings. Yeah. I think I asked her like what she wants to do or what she wants to accomplish. She said everything. So she's got and both Sebastian and Gabriela. Maybe this is a little bit of hyperbole, but they say she's the best of the bunch. So it's this fighting family who are all in their 20s when it comes to Sebastian and Gabriela. 11-year-old Fabiola, like they're going to be around boxing for a long time. Yeah. I just think Gabriela needs that marquee opponent. She needs someone to have, like a Taylor Serrano type, what Claressa was looking for with Savannah Marshall. She needs someone to emerge out of these lower weight classes. That's for sure.
Whatever Father Fundora has, he has the formula, fighting formula to produce well-rounded, highly intelligent, instinctual killers. They're doing it great, man. So credit to Papa Fundora for doing what he's doing. And yeah, I can't wait for the youngest daughter to come and for her to start doing something great as well.
All right, couple things before we go. It's been a little over a week since the Canelo Alvarez Terrence Crawford fight, and the dust is still settling on all of this, and they're still trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Look, I've been told that Team Crawford is willing to do a rematch. Like, they're interested. It probably is going to come down to whether or not Canelo Alvarez wants it. Now, you and I have discussed at length, should he take it, shouldn't he take it? We'll never agree on it. What I'm kind of curious about to get your take on, as someone that is fiercely loyal to his trainer, had been for his entire career.
Not only my trainer, everyone in my
life. Team, but like the trainer, I think, is the most important person in that corner. Canelo's been with Eddie Reynoso for a very, very long time. If he goes forward with the rematch, not to say he'd replace Eddie Reynoso, because that's never going to happen, but does he need
No.
another voice? Look, I've heard people like Robert Garcia suggest this.
No.
Like, he just, if he comes back, the same group, the same team.
Yes. The same team he's had since he was 15 years old. What the hell? What more success do you want in life? This man has made boatloads of generational money, almost becoming a billionaire with that same team he's had since he walked into that gym in Guadalajara with Chepo and Eddie Reynoso. Why are you going to change just because you're an aging fighter that couldn't beat one of the greatest fighter of our generation? There's nothing wrong there. There's nothing wrong to losing to Dimitri Bivol. There's nothing wrong with losing Floyd Mayweather Jr. You're gonna lose. You're not the greatest fighter in the world whenever you compete with another great fighter. That's when you have a B-side. That's when you have, I forget the word I'm looking for. When a hero has a villain. You have that
Nemesis,
Mannix. There you go.
I feel like half of these shows are spent with me telling you what word to
Well,
say.
you're the writer and the fighter. Fighter and the writer. Nemesis. You need that. You need that name. You need somebody. You know, you need Sugar Ray Leonard needed Duran. He needed Hearn. He needed Marvin Hagler. You need that other name to sell something big for it to be remembered by history. And if you don't have that, you're gonna struggle trying to prove yourself to everybody. There's no shame for Canelo losing to 3 undefeated fighters that he probably wasn't as good at, and that's why he lost. Canelo's not the greatest fighter in the world. He probably won't go down as one of the greatest top 10 ever, but he did the most he can with his ability with that team that he had all along the way. So you stay loyal till the day you retire with them.
I don't disagree with you, because I remember in 2013, in the aftermath of that loss to Floyd Mayweather, where I thought he fought one of the worst strategic fights he possibly could. He tried to box with the boxer. He didn't try to assert himself, use his size advantage, use some of the physical tools that he had against an older Floyd Mayweather. He tried to box from the outside, and I thought that was insane. I thought he should have considered changing trainers back then. He didn't. And what was it? 2 fights later, he beats Arislandi Lara, and he's off to the races on his way to being the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I feel the same way now. You should not replace your trainer. But is it possible that after 2 decades that there's a little complacency setting in, that maybe having some new ideas in the camp is not the worst thing in the world? I'll give you an example. And this is something I think that Bill Haney does extremely well with Devin. Bill Haney brings a lot of outside voices in to work with Devin Haney. Like, you don't see Ben Davison hanging around, but Ben Davison has been a huge part of Devin Haney's training camps for years, like supplying film study and strategic advice. I just think at 35 years old, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Canelo to mix it up a little bit. It's kind of like that, with Rocky, when Apollo Creed takes over and takes him out of his element. Mick's gone. Let me take you into this different environment, different set of training techniques. I just think maybe shaking it up a little bit would be a positive for Canelo if he goes into a rematch.
You're good with words, Mannix. I'll give you that. You're good with words, but it's nonsense. It's nonsense, because what makes a fighter? It's character first. Character makes a fighter. In the end, the character will reveal itself, whether this guy will go down swinging, go out on his shield, will he look for a way out, or would he just flat out quit? Character reveals itself in many ways, not only with a fighter, with a trainer, but everyone in your team, because you grew up with them, you bled with them, you turn in from a kid to a teenager to a man. You have your highest highs and your lowest lows with the same people in your corner. It's more than loyalty. It's more than loyalty. It's more than a marriage. It's more than a friendship. It's this blood bond that you guys shared the best and the worst of times. And I know it sounds cheesy, but it's a marriage that you can't divorce from. And once you do divorce from, just like most divorce statistics, you're going to get divorced quicker the second time around. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have that chemistry. That chemistry is only going to be with the day one person, all right? The day one person that has seen you from beginning. And Canelo, all the success he's had were with the same people in his corner. Just the Eddie and Chepo Reynoso. You go all the way to the end, man. It's a fairy tale boxing story. Just because you couldn't beat these all-time great boxers doesn't mean that you weren't one of the greatest yourself. You just can't beat everybody, man. You're not King Kong.
And he doesn't beat everybody.
Just to finish this, changing trainers is a lack of character and it's disloyalty, and it looks worse for the fighter. So I say don't do it.
You say that, but a lot of times it does work out for the fighter, right? Like Tyson Fury made a change to Sugar Hill.
More times than not, it doesn't.
Miguel
it doesn't
Cotto
matter.
goes to Emmanuel Stewart. Vladimir Klitschko goes to Emmanuel Stewart. Lennox Lewis goes to Emmanuel Stewart. Sometimes it does. You're right. It doesn't always work out. Miguel Cotto actually didn't work with Stewart. He worked with Freddie. Sometimes it doesn't work out, like Cotto and Manny. But sometimes it does. All right, lastly, Mike Tyson is planning this comeback against Floyd Mayweather. There's no date, there's no promotion, there's no network, there's no nothing for this right now. But it's been announced that Mayweather and Tyson have signed on to fight each other. I saw Tyson did an interview with the Today Show, basically said he's going to fight until people stop paying him to fight. You and I grew up on Mike Tyson. We were enamored with him in the late 80s and early 90s and all throughout his career. Is Mike Tyson doing damage to his legacy by continuing to do all this stuff? Because, Sergio, there's like a generation of people out there that only know Tyson as like the guy that fought Roy Jones in his early 50s, or the guy that got beat up by Jake Paul in his late 50s. Now he's pushing 60 and talking about fighting Floyd Mayweather in a fight that's not going to look good. Like, there's no possible way that fight, whatever it would be, is going to be entertaining. Is Tyson doing any damage here to the legacy that he has?
No, because he's indestructible as far as his reputation, because he's already been dragged through the mud in public opinion. I mean, everything bad that can happen to a man has happened to that man. So Mike Tyson's already he's already went through the darkness, and he's already come to the light, not only with the way he thinks, his finances, there's a lot of things I want to say, but I don't want to bring up with Mike Tyson. But if you really just Google Mike Tyson, of all the bad things that have happened to his life, this man should be in rehabilitation, mental facilities. He should be a drug addict. He should be a lot of things that he's not.
He declared bankruptcy in 2003, and now he's thriving with all the business interests he has.
Exactly. So Mike Tyson is going to be one of these figures that kind of like an Elvis Presley. They're going to be forever known for the good, but they had a really bad as well in their life. But that's what makes them larger than life. That's what makes them relatable. That's what makes them all time. They're icons because a human can relate to them, but they were larger than life, and they did something great for a certain amount of time that you're always going to be invested in. So Mike Tyson's always going to be able to make money. And even if he goes bankrupt again, he's going to be able to make money. And as far as this attraction, because that's what it is, it's a circus attraction of Mike Tyson coming back to the ring. He's not fighting. He's just showing up. And people are willing to pay for that attraction, then so be it. You know what you're going to watch. You're not going to watch Iron Mike Tyson. You're going to watch an old man who used to be a killer that's not a killer, and you're going to pay for that because you just want to be around that and say, I saw Mike Tyson towards the end of his career. And you're not watching Mike Tyson. You're watching a salesman, a car salesman, that used to be a great, incredible fighter, and now is just a shell of himself trying to sell himself to nostalgia.
Yeah, I just hate to see it. I mean, the Roy Jones fight, he looked like he still could move around a little bit. The Jake Paul fight, he didn't. And I don't want to see him chasing around a late 40s, early 50s, whatever he is, Floyd Mayweather Jr. That does nothing for me. I bring up Roy, and because Roy, you and I again grew up on Roy. Like, Roy, up until 2003, was the greatest fighter I've ever seen.
Superman.
And then after that, when he kept his career going and was getting knocked out by all these guys that didn't even deserve to be in the ring with him, much less beating him, I think it diminished him in the eyes of the next generation. Mike Tyson, just like Roy Jones, should be remembered as the legend that he was. And I don't look in a man's pockets, but it seems like Mike's doing pretty well. Mike, I get all these emails all the time about Mike's new sponsorship deals. He's being flown around the world for appearances. Seems like he's doing okay. I don't want to see him in these kind of gimmick events, which opens him up to being mocked on social media by people that shouldn't be mocking him, that shouldn't be knocking him down in that way.
It's not just in boxing; it's in every entertainment. When you have these old used to be greats. Like, have you seen around your timeline? Were you a fan of Van Halen?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Do you see David Lee Roth's old butt with those leather jeans, still trying to sing, and he has no voice anymore?
I see Springsteen. I went to see Springsteen recently.
Yeah, but Springsteen still could sing. You see Axl Rose still trying to, wear that bandana to hide his baldness and try to sing "Welcome to the Jungle." They're not there. But see, people are watching them. The people in the crowd are watching the old Axl Rose. They're watching the old David Lee Roth. They're watching the old Mike Tyson. They're not watching, the old person that's in front of them. They feel something, so the fan is to blame for this too, because that nostalgia that they're paying for to the outside world is ridiculous, but to them, their childhood dreams and how they feel and how they grew up around them, then you can't take that away from people. So if people are willing to pay for a fighter like Mike Tyson at this stage of his career, let them pay for it. So what? Me and you that are in the business know that it's not a fight. It's not an attraction. It should be happening. But there's a lot of people that aren't hardcore boxing fans that just want to be entertained and say they've been there to watch Mike Tyson. That's it. So I don't blame Mike Tyson.
Springsteen still got it.
Bruce Springsteen still has it. Absolutely. And certain old entertainers have it. Certain old actors have it, but a lot of old actors don't have it no more. And it's a rite of passage, man. When you're that great, you're giving chances all the way to the end, but it's up to the fans to not pay for it anymore, to say, man, I loved you, but not anymore.
You don't have it.
I don't have it anymore. That's why I'm starting a new chapter in my life, and I'm a podcaster now, Mannix. I get a lot of love in the casino podcasting. That's all I hear about.
You're welcome.
That's all I hear about now is pod. Where's Chris Mannix? I'm like, I don't care.
You're welcome over and over. You can just send me a text every morning saying thank you.
Can you pay me for this pod? Because I want to gamble it right now. I don't want to leave here a loser.